Everybody, I've got something to share with you that I want you to share. So yesterday, my wife and I attended wonderful service, Princeton Pike Church of God, Hamilton, Ohio. Was not surprised, but wasn't expecting one of the things that happened, and you got to see it. So right after the song service, there was a prepared video that Pastor Oldfield had prepared for the congregation and for distribution within his network. You got to see this video talking about voting no on issue 1, and then please share. We are going to triumph in this. Please do your part. Please make sure you're registered. Please be prepared to vote no, vote early, and drag at least 10 people to the polls with you. You got to see this video, and then you got to share.
Hello, my brothers and sisters. I would like to talk to you for just a moment about becoming a vote for the voiceless. As you well know, we're living today in a godless culture, and more we're seeing the influence of righteousness being pushed aside in our culture, and it seems as though the spirit of Antichrist has taken over. This November, issue 1, a proposed amendment that will seek to enshrine the right to abortion up until the birth of a baby into Ohio's Constitution. It will do several things. Number 1, it will lock abortion politics into our Constitution, overriding all other state laws. It will abolish parental rights, along with the health and safety standards stating, and I quote from the amendment, "The state shall not directly or indirectly burden, penalize, prohibit, or interfere with, or discriminate against either, number 1, an individual's voluntary exercise of this right, abortion." This will distract voters. Every individual has a right to make and carry out one's own reproductive decisions, including, but not limited to, and this is in the amendment, number 1, contraception. Number 2, fertility treatment. Number 3, continuing one's own pregnancy. And number 4, miscarriage care. And I think most people would have no problem with those things, but then there's item 5, and it just simply says abortion. That one item will guarantee abortion as a right in the state of Ohio under the Constitution if this passes. It also will allow abortion up until birth. This is what the amendment said. In no case may such an abortion be prohibited if in the professional judgment of the pregnant patient's treating physician, it is necessary to protect the pregnant patient's life or health. So by not defining what protecting the patient's health really means, the abortion doctor becomes the judge and the jury on whether or not the abortion is necessary. Now I want to remind you, in the Old Testament, the people in idolatry would worship a god called Molech, which was in essence a large furnace with hands extended outward. And they would get a roaring fire going inside until the hands became glowing red hot. And then the people would come in worship to Molech because they believed that he would somehow make their life better. They would come and lay their children on those glowing red hot hands. And historians tell us that they would beat a drum so that the people couldn't hear the scream and the cry of the children that were being offered up. Now, we're not much different today, because in order to kind of numb the emotion of it, we call it choice. We call it convenience, but we know what it is, and we're engaged in this war. My brother and sister, let me remind you that the Bible says we're called to be light. Matthew 5:14, Jesus said, "You are the light of the world, a city that is set on a hill that cannot be hid." We're in a war. We're in a struggle between light and darkness. So what can we do? Well, number 1, we can pray, because prayer changes conditions and still reverses decisions. And in addition to praying, we need to register people to vote. And we have to do that before October 10th. To vote. So many evangelical churches and church folk have not even registered to vote. It's time for us to stand up and get involved. And then the third thing we can do is inform our churches and our friends, our sphere of influence, regarding the urgency to participate in this struggle that is taking place right in front of our faces. So I encourage you today, be a vote for the voiceless. And may God bless you as you seek to be light in a darkened land.